Hey guys, I'm Cassie Cameron, founder of Mind Heart Club, and today I'm here with Avanti Singh, psychologist, Ayurveda practitioner, and certified Deepak Chopra meditation instructor. And today we're going to talk all about why addressing mental health is truly holistic, and there are multiple different aspects of the self that we need to address. So Avanti, I know that you are across a variety of different health modalities, and I know that in clinic with your clients you work on use lots of different things to address their health. So what does that usually look like for you? Do you find that with your clients and patients you address more than one thing with them, or what does that usually look like?
Well, I guess people normally come to me when they're going through huge life transitions or crisis. So there's a number of areas in their life that is actually changing. Yeah. They're usually experiencing physical imbalance, mental turbulence, spiritual disconnect. And I try to address all three of those. And I guess, as a practitioner, one of the things that I want to do is actually increase awareness, consciousness. So a lot of the practices I teach come from East-West blend, but they're really about increasing thoughts, your awareness of what thoughts you're having, particularly the story you're telling yourself about yourself, which is an important story. Also, really increasing your awareness of how feelings feel in the body, and then going beyond thought and beyond body to the essential self. So we get beyond the story and we really become aware of why we're here, to be able to serve, society, community. So I guess, to answer your question, I do use a variety of modalities across East and West, but I don't only think of myself as a practitioner of health. I guess for me, it's about a whole system approach, and so yes.
Yeah, and they're sort of, so interconnected, aren't they?
Definitely.
Yeah, so it's sort of, I find, with everyone I talk to, it's never just one thing that they use to get to better health or maintain their health. It's always, different things. So it's something for their mind and their body, and that interconnectedness seems to come through so much.
It does.
Yeah. And why do you think we need to address mental health holistically?
Well, I think there's a lot of, that's a really big question, but I think I always like to explain it in terms of a multi-dimensional map, if you will. An ancient sage, Adi Shankara, who was a revivalist of Vedic ancient scientific thought, really talked about categorizing the body according to three primary layers, which is the physical body, the subtle body, and the causal body. So he spoke about the physical body being not just the personal body, which is blood and bones and skin, but it's also the energy body, and then also the extended body or the environment. And a person like Tom Chi, who's a scientist and engineer now, has done a lot of kind of working out of this stuff to kind of work out that we will cycle out the size of our arm a day just with breath. We're in continuous conversation. So we're a lot more than what our limited nervous system would have us believe. A lot more than the physical. We're also the subtle body, that body that's made up of mind, intellect, ego. And then how the mind-body connection is, there was skepticism a lot of years ago, but now with research, what we know is, and what Dr. Chopra would say is that the mind is spread throughout the body. The body is an information superhighway. Yeah. And we can see that, like we can talk about, fear, the basic emotion of fear in terms of its feeling, or we can talk about in terms of a tangible molecule, adrenaline. So we can see the mind-body link there. We can see the mind-body link when we look at fight, flight, freeze and the physiological reactions where you have an increase in heart rate, blood pressure, sweating, you get clotting cells, weakened immunity, and then when you meditate, you get the opposite of that. So the antithesis. So, and then, giving rise to mind and body is this kind of causal body. And so, that's how I like to think of the body, you know, to go beyond just mental health and beyond body, and we're looking at the whole system and how it's all linked.
It's
So
amazing.
I kind of like that model.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how many different aspects of the self there are that, you know, it's not just what you see.
Definitely.
Yeah. And even under a microscope, amazing how the science is actually proving, you know, that those points and the impact of the mind on the body and vice versa. And it's just, I find it so interesting.
I mean, if you look between us and you put, you know, a super powered microscope, I mean, we would be linked on a very, you know, quantum level. So it's, you know, I think we attribute way too much to what we actually can see, that physical matter. Yeah. And we've got to go beyond that.
And what are some, so we talked about the different types of, you know, the causal body and the, you know, all of those layers. What are the other aspects of the total person's well-being that we need to pay attention to?
I guess if we're looking at assessing someone's total well-being, I guess we would look at, besides physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, we could look at their relationship area, we could look at their financial area, the career area, community area. I think we could span across all of those areas and really have a look at it. I think the old paradigm is a bit about, you know, me here and world there. I think the new paradigm is actually the world is in me. And so I think when you're looking at total well-being, it's really important, I think, to also really know that, you know, we are the creator of our universe. And so, you know, total well-being is really about understanding that perception is really important as well.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, so
the way we're viewing things, you know, as well.
Yeah, it's your whole perspective and your paradigm and everything that's going on for you.
And it's kind of empowering as well, because we get to also feel some of that empowerment with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you're not at the mercy of all these external forces. There is positive action you can take about yourself.
So we become a creator, but I think we become more than that. We become a co-creator with the universe, which I think is a, you know, we're not just begging to sky God for changes, but we're actually, you know, actively co-creating with life, with the universe, with God. You know, I don't think anyone wants to talk about God when we speak about well-being, but I think it's a word that we've got to kind of start to, you know, introduce, because it's, it's really about, you know, really empowering self and knowing the force that's beyond ourself as well.
And so, for, you know, because there's just so, it seems like there's just so much to cover with the self. So, I mean, to break it down into somewhere to start, you know, what are some really practical tips that people can start to adopt every day in their lives?
I think, you know, a really good sleep routine and knowing that you need to prepare 2 hours before sleep time.
2 hours? Oh, okay.
So, you know, I think we normally just kind of get into bed and just hope that we sleep. So I think 2 hours before, we're really thinking about it, you know, dimming lights and having maybe, you know, a warm milk with a bit of ghee is nice. Or so I think sleep's really important, because sleep, that processes, you know, the processes happening during sleep are not just passive, they're quite active processes. Then something like making sure you're moving in life, it doesn't, if you don't get time for exercise, then making sure you have time for movement of some form. Things like definitely a regular meditation practice. I mean, I guess I'm a meditation teacher. I think, you know, the benefits are now are just, you know, it's you can't argue with the benefits anymore.
There's science there.
Yeah, there's science there, and it's something that can be quite simple. It doesn't have to be, oh my God, I need to be the monk on the mountain without thought. I think we need to be thinking a bit about it quite mechanically, although I think it's quite a deep practice. But yeah, just a regular meditation practice. I think that any kind of practices or routines, I think the underpinning thing is to always be thinking about whole system approach, be thinking about, you know, conscious self-inquiry. So asking the deeper questions, you know, I think the who am I, what do I deeply desire, and why am I here? I think they're important questions, and we don't really think about them.
Well, that's all been really interesting, super great tips. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And there you guys have it, holistic wellbeing with Avanti Singh.